Well, if you ever wanted to win 2 points in style, well, you can't do it more stylishly than this. What Punjab has just done to table toppers Gujarat has just been nothing short of mayhem. They've won it in 16 overs. That's right, with 4 overs to spare, 8 wickets still in hand. Total annihilation of the table toppers there. Punjab getting the 2 points, getting a lot of self-confidence with that. The last over, Liam Livingstone has hit Mohammad Shami, who's been one of the bowlers of the tournament, for 28 runs. That's right, 28 runs in 1 over, 3 6s, 2 4s, and just got the job done. That's right. Punjab picks up the 2 points. I tell you what, should probably get 3 or 4 for this one. Liam Livingstone alone should probably get 12 for one of the sixes that he had out of the stadium. But no, we can't change the numbers. They are what they are. I'm Gaurav Kapur. This is Cricbuzz Live. I have Lisa Sthalekar and Shaun Pollock here with me. Lisa, so Liam Livingstone is sitting in the dugout looking at batter after batter struggle, comes to the center and goes, "What's the fuss about, you old boys? Let me show you how this is done."
Well, he did get given a gift, didn't he, by Mohammad Shami, that nice full toss that just kept sailing, and we thought, were we going to see a ball go out of the stadium? But yeah, it was almost set up for him just to put the cherry on top, and that's exactly what he did. And instead of kind of taking it to the last over, he's got the ability just to finish 30-odd runs within an over, and Punjab pick up the points.
Yeah, Polly, that was just, we'll talk about the entire chase, but how can we not talk about that last over and what Liam Livingstone has done?
You said finished in style, more like finished in brute and force. He swings himself off his feet, doesn't he? And the amount of bat speed he creates, you do think if he gets one in the middle, it's going to disappear. He was the biggest six hitter, 108 meters before this one. So this one's a monster at 117. And as a bowler,
I think this one was 117, 108, 106. He's got 3 of the top 5. So yeah, he's doing all right.
Yeah. As a bowler, you know that you just don't want to be in the back end of it. As that ball just starts to disappear, you just start under your breath, go, get down, get down, get down. I don't want to be recorded as the biggest six of the tournament. So we've all been there at some stage. But yeah, I suppose that's the nature of the beast. These guys these days with the bats they have and how strong they are and how quickly they swing that bat. If you do get it wrong and you're on the wrong side of one, you are going to disappear. He's actually lucky that it was the D.Y. Patel Stadium, because there's a couple of other ones there that are a lot smaller. The stands are set quite well back from the boundary rope there. If it was at Mumbai, at
Brabham Stadium, it would have gone into
somebody's house.
Marine Drive, I reckon it would have gone in the Marine Drive.
Yeah, maybe Marine Drive, but the angle that he hit it would probably have gone into somebody's house, because there's buildings, residential buildings all around it. Can you imagine? You're sitting at 10 to 11 on a weeknight, you're trying to put the lights off, let's go to sleep. And suddenly a cricket ball crashes through your 6th-floor apartment. I tell you, a weak heart would not survive that. But while we, of course, talk about Liam Livingstone, and you would if you hit Shami for 28 runs and finish the way that, as Polly said, with brute force, don't ignore what Dhawan has done today, because he definitely was the spine of this chase for Punjab. He was the star of this chase for Punjab. Just kept his head down, showed his experience, Lisa, and just shepherded the team to victory.
Well, we must point out and credit to Gujarat bowlers. The amount of pace and bounce and carry through that they were getting. There was I think a slip fielder in halfway through the 7th over. That's how aggressive they were. They were trying to pick up wickets. Dhawan was facing majority of them. A couple of them, they were a wonderful play and miss, and you'd be clapping that at the non-strikers end, because they were absolute peaches of deliveries. But it was hard going, and he found a way, whether he backed away to the leg side to kind of utilize his cut shot and then the ramp shot really well. But he even though Gujarat were on top from a bowling perspective, I thought he was still able to find ways of scoring runs and finding that boundary just to keep the scoreboard ticking along.
He really is It's the kind of maturity, Sean, that Shikhar Dhawan shows year after year after year.
Yeah, we touched on it at halftime or after 10 overs doing the combox with what's he got 450 in the last 6 seasons. So he is the backbone. And he's been, I think, of all the
and this season
games
as
that
well in all their wins.
And all their wins, I think he's been the one who has, as you say, mentioned, he has been the backbone. So he is an experienced campaigner, the left-hand option. Obviously, often you're sitting there batting with a right-hander at the other side. So all those things are just really good. But he's worked out his game plan. And as Lisa said, I mean, I was critical after 10 overs at the lengths that were hit by Gujarat Titans. I just thought, besides Shami, they were all a little bit too short. But there was a lot of deliveries that went past that outside edge. And, if you aren't experienced or you aren't able to just write that off, it can unnerve you as a batter because the ball was pinging around. It was nipping around. It was carrying. But he just waited for the one that he felt he could go after, and he didn't miss out once. Whether it was the ram shot, a nice shot over extra cover, beautiful cut shots. He's got all those shots. He bats really well and works it all around the surface, around the pitch. And he showed us again tonight.
We talk about the bowling and how the ball was kind of darting all over the place. Johnny Bairstow, that experiment, him coming to open, that didn't work. They lost their first wicket at 10. But then the partnership between Bhanuka Rajapaksha and Shikhar Dhawan. Now you look at that partnership, it's 87 runs. It's come, in about 60 odd balls, a little less than 60 balls. And you suddenly wonder, or that kind of shines a light, Lisa, on how good and what great application these two batters had, despite what all was going on with the ball.
Yeah, it was almost just outside of the power play. Rajapaksa just, hit a couple down the ground, full face. We were talking about good foot movement when the pitch is doing something. They were able to play good, technically correct cricket shots. And they were able to ensure that they didn't lose a wicket during that crucial period for them. A partnership was required to set it up. And that's what they did. And yet you look as well, at one stage, you didn't feel like they were smashing the ball to all parts of the boundary. But then Rajapaksa, you look up and he's 20 off 10. And you're like, how is he striking it at 200? But he does it with ease. So, so crucial. And also the fact that Mayank Agarwal just kind of started to slide down. You wondered where he was going to feature and wasn't required because of that partnership. And I can understand Rajapaksa, he's done well. That's 340 odds off 20 to 30 odd balls now. So in the IPL out of 4 innings, pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know, Polly, but it's, do you think that, they've won now, but, and they may just go unchanged for the next game, but Johnny Bairstow is hanging by a thread, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think they'll worry too much about it. When people say experiment, it's not really an experiment to send him to the top of the order. He's used to doing it. But there's no doubt, if Punjab are to succeed, it's going to require Mayank and Johnny to come good. They can't keep relying on the other guys.
Or just Mayank to come. Today he didn't even come. Forget come good. Where's the captain?
Maybe be a little bit like Kolkata with Owen Morgan. Just didn't really feature, but just was leading. Yeah, just kept sliding down the order. I
think you're right. You're right, Polly. I think what we should say is yes, of course they've got Bairstow to open, and that seems like an experiment because they were set with Mayank and Shikhar. But you're right, he's opened so much for England and for Hyderabad. The real experiment is guessing the batting position of the captain, Mayank Agarwal, because I don't remember him ever batting at 5 or 6 or that low a number. So, yeah, that's the real experiment. Can you let the captain keep relaxing and you get a bit of a incentive and a bonus if you can? And today they should, because they've done really well. You have to say they've done really well. And Liam Livingstone, geez, the way he was hitting. It's not much to talk about in terms of the Punjab performance. Nothing bad. It just was all good, one tick after the other. But for Gujarat on the other side, they won the toss. They decided to bat first. They never had enough. They thought they didn't have enough. And their world-class bowling today, 4 overs to spare is how Punjab has won. Lisa, do they just write this off smilingly as a bad day?
Isn't that what Hardik Pandya does anyway? He smiles.
And
away.
Ashish Nehra and Gary Kirsten, Vikram Solanki. All of
They're
them.
all a very chilled out group. It's almost like they're from the Caribbean, aren't they? Nothing seems to faze them too much. And given how well they've been going, sometimes you actually need a game like this. You need a game where you go, well, okay, didn't quite work. Gives us a bit of a kick up the backside. Yep, we've got to switch on focus. We can't assume things are just going to fall our way like they have done in the previous matches. We actually have to turn up and play some good cricket. And they didn't play good cricket today, and they got found out.
Yeah, I think the one thing, and Polly spent some time, with the support staff and the coaching staff as well. I think the thing that Gujarat does is normally you get a bunch of kind of greats and individuals and you put them into a coaching unit, whereas this Gujarat team is actually a proper team. The coaching unit's a team that has worked before. So you have Ashish and Gary Kirsten who worked together, obviously as a player for India, but then in Bangalore for a couple of years. And Vikram Solanki was there as well. So it's almost like a modular kitchen, right? It's just you picked it up and you've put it into this house here. And that's got to help, right, Paulie? Because they all kind of know each other's working style over a couple of seasons.
Yeah, and you'll often see it, when coaches get given certain roles, they like to have 2 or 3 people around them, whether it's in the Premier League football or wherever they go, because they know that they can trust those individuals. They know how they look at the different situations, and they can lean on them. So, yeah, it is interesting to see. I think it's just a change of a role. Like Gary was head coach, and now Ashish has become head coach, and Gary's gone to sort of batting consultant. But I don't think they'll be too disappointed with tonight. It was interesting. It's also the game of cricket. Every once in a while, if you try and mess around with it, like, we'll decide we'll have a bat first. Cricket's got a wonderful way of just leveling you out and saying, well, don't become too smarty pants. Just concentrate on winning your games and playing nicely. And I mean, they had the 2 good performances, obviously in the batting. And then I just felt Shami was good. He's really has been brilliant for them in those first 6 overs. And it's just interesting for me how the roles that they play these days, he's got 9 wickets in that first power play, and what they are doing with him is they often use his full 3 overs. And it was a bit of a trend at one stage that no, you can't bowl more than 1 over at a time because people will line you up and they'll do this, and you've got to keep you for the back end. But I'm a firm believer, if you've got a great ability to do a certain role, stick with that person. And they've used him in those 3, and he's been brilliant. I mean, you look what happens. He comes back at the back end. Yes, it can happen to anyone. But that, I wouldn't say death bowling or bowling at the end is his massive strength. I mean, I think he does a good job of it, but it's not his massive strength. Whereas those first 6 overs and his first 3 overs with that new ball, he answers every question. So it's just good to see him. I think he's got 9 wickets in the power play, leading. He's probably bowled the most overs in the power play as well, because they do give him an extended spell. But good to see a guy who's good at doing a particular thing being used in that department.
And going at a run a ball in the power play. That's goals. You're getting the wickets, you're keeping the runs down, or you're keeping the runs down because you're getting the wickets. The captain doesn't mind in which order, whether it's chicken and egg or egg and chicken, as long as you're getting it done. But yeah, for Gujarat, if you look at the points table, I mean, they're still on top. They're still right up there. They've got the 8 wins, but now out of the 10 games. So they've had 2 losses now. And Punjab suddenly just sneaks up. And this is the beauty, right? This is cat amongst the pigeons with every game. So you have Punjab who's jumped up. They're at 10 points now. They've had a big win today, which means that their net run rate has actually jumped up or closer towards being in the positive, because they were way back down as well after a couple of bad losses. They're still behind Hyderabad, who've had some big wins. So this net run rate, Lisa, come on. And every dollar I have, I'm willing to bet that this has to be decided by net run rate. Number 4 has to be decided by net run rate.
And this is where now, with the addition of 2 extra teams, I'd love to see a bonus point being put in. So then all of a sudden it gives teams that are, mathematically out of it, here's a chance that if you go hard for the rest of your games, maybe you can scrape in, and then you go net run rate. But I think there's an element now, given the 10 teams, you could potentially bring in that bonus point. But yeah, I think the team coming into the finals will be decided by net run rate. And I noticed the commentators kept saying, I think it was like almost the 8th or 9th over, Punjab will be looking at the net run rate. And I'm thinking, hang on, just focus on the victory first. 2 points is much more important than net run rate.
Isn't there a bonus point in the Big Bash as well?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, and it works well.
Power surge or some surge.
There's a power surge, and then if you're ahead in the second innings of your opposition at the 10 over mark, you get a point. So some teams actually go really hard and change their batting order around. So it asks for a few tactical changes, which keeps everyone on their toes, so to speak.
I think we should add another rule to this game, which is not complicated enough already. Just add one more for the viewers to follow. All right, we have to talk about Kagiso Rabada because he was brilliant today. He's our Omni-Gel Relief and Recovery Performer of the Match. Omni-Gel, India's #1 pain recovery gel brand. It not only gives quick relief, but also recovery from pain. Note that for fans, there was a lot of pain that he caused, Polly, for Gujarat today.
Yeah, he did. I mean, we talked about all their superstars and their ability to strike and put runs on the board at a rate of knots. And he was the one who made sure that none of that kind of happened, particularly picked up the initial wickets and then had some at the back end as well. So he is just a great performer. He has that knack of picking up wickets. And I just want to see him a bit more happy about getting them because he was a bit flat today. Whenever he got a wicket, it was, oh well, there's another wicket, and I'll go back to my mark.
He seemed like he was in pain when he got them, which is great because we've got Omni-Gel for him. Then we've got some Omni-Gel for him.
Send him some, yeah.
We should. But Lisa, sometimes this can happen, right? This can happen when maybe something has been said in the dugout before the game. You're a senior player. You got to get this done. I don't know, a harsh word, perhaps. You don't rule that out, right?
No, you don't rule it out. And obviously, as an international player coming in, your job is to have a huge impact. It's to score runs, take wickets. And if you're not doing that, people start pointing the finger because all of a sudden they're going, well, hang on, we've paid big bucks for you. You're not delivering. So there's that added pressure. As much as, the actual coaching staff will try and work with the players, you've got so many other external factors, the owners, the fans, because we know the Indian fans, they live and breathe every moment, and they're great pundits themselves. So they notice everything. So you are under the microscope. So yeah, I think sometimes also you just got to remember why you play the game as well. It's a bit of fun. It's okay.
Yeah. And he is having fun. He's third in the purple cap race. And today he got Saha, Tewatia, Rashid, and Loki. So, yeah, it's been good for him today. So he was a Omni-Gel Relief and Recovery Performer of the Match. He ensured that there was no dud for Punjab's fans today. That's right. Super happy they will be because they've got the 2 points. They're just up amongst it now. And I just want to pull the points table up again because we talk about net run rate. I want our viewers to start kind of tracking it from now on, right? Do it. We've got like 20 games left in the league stage. Start tracking it already. Who's in negative now? Forget Mumbai, right? Obviously. If you don't win games, you'll be negative. Chennai, yeah, but look amongst them. There's minus 0.5, which is Bangalore, because they've had a couple of big losses. And then the only other minus is Punjab. The others are kind of all positive. There's big positives there. Biggest.
But one thing you must look at, Gaurav, look at the top there. So Gujarat, I mean, maybe someone can whisper in your ear what it was at the start of this game. But look at their net run rate. I'm sure it was like +3 or even +4.
Yeah, I think it would have fallen about 2.5, 3 points for sure.
There you go. So now what happens is you can get into a position where you finish second and your net run rate means that you actually end up finishing third because someone squeaks above you. And you know how important it is to finish in the top two.
Yeah.
So when you say, oh, well, we batted first and all those things, you've got to just be careful about the damage that can be done because, if they bat second, they don't lose by a margin that big. They'll push it really tight and then that run rate stays good.
There you go. Like Polly's saying, sometimes.
Scenarios.com.
Polly's favorite. And of course, smartypants.com, right? Don't try to do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't try
do
to
it.
do it.
All right. Let's have a look at the game tomorrow because it's the great South Derby. It's Bangalore playing Chennai. This is the game which, if you watch it on TV, it's just like Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni. But now, well, MS Dhoni's back as captain. Yeah, everybody's happy. It's the dream start. Obviously, they won the game, his first game as captain. So they've won that. And you know how Chennai fans are. You know how Indian fans are, cricket fans are. Everybody with that one win. Lisa is already saying, do you think they can qualify? Whoa.
Don't worry, scenario.com, they've already figured out who needs to lose, what by how many of the other games. There is a chance. There is a slight chance. But this is a do or die game for Bangalore, isn't it? You know, just when Chennai have figured out their batting order, Gaikwad, Devon Conway at the top worked a treat, and they put on that huge partnership. Whereas Bangalore, they're struggling at the top. You know, the amount of, I think, golden ducks that they've had within their top four over the course of the IPL so far just isn't good enough. And that's why they're sitting in that precarious position at the moment.
Yeah, it is. And as we see that points table again, you'll see, Polly, that while Chennai, of course, has fewer points and they definitely need to win, Bangalore perhaps needs this even more because they played 10 games. Remember, so you're looking at Hyderabad, who's level with them, but they have a game in hand. So Bangalore needs this even more if they want to be in contention for the top four.
Yeah, because it's going to be, if you look at the net run rate, as we mentioned, it's so bad, and negative 0.55, that it's points that are going to get them through. You don't see them getting onto the same points as like a 15 or 14 or 16 and being able to squeak through on net run rate. So I think that's the issue. All about winning now. And Chennai will, I think they're sort of at the last gasp effort. I don't think they can afford to make a mistake. So we'll be interested to see how they go.
But they didn't make any mistake in their previous game. And also they didn't make any mistake when they played Bangalore the first time, because that was the one when I think Dubey and Robin got 50s and they put up that big 200 plus score. So that's what they had done then. Let's have a look at the Bangalore squad and see that they would like to make any changes going into tomorrow. Lisa, do you see them doing anything at all?
No, I
It
can't.
does look like their best 11, right?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I mean, Hazelwood's been good. I'm just trying to think, even from an international point of view, is there someone to rotate?
Yeah.
That's always been the problem for Bangalore as well. It's like their internationals have kind of been sewn up. There hasn't been others to find their way or sneak their way in. So it's their best order. It's their best 11. They just need to put it on the park. I mean, Lomraw, we didn't get to see Lomraw go. So maybe he has a bit more of an opportunity tomorrow night.
But the truth is, Polly, that they need more from Faf, Virat, and Glenn Maxwell. Yes, Virat got a 50 in the previous match, and it was scratchy because you don't want the greatest batsman in the world, one of the greatest batsmen in the world, to be getting his 50 at strike rate of 105. But Bangalore fans will take away from that saying, okay, at least he's got some runs now. Hopefully, top of the order, he can also get them at a fair clip.
Yeah, they want his strike rate to be really good. They want Maxwell's no issue with his strike rate. It's always good, but he almost needs to just play a bit of a longer innings. Get his 20 or 7 or 8 or whatever it may be. But if you could just get a 40, Faf needs to strike some form at the top again. He was good at the start of the tournament. And then DK, he's had 3 lean games. So there's 4 main contributors there that have got little things that they need to sort out individually to give themselves the best chance.
Yeah, but this is one of those rare teams. And Bangalore's always had this issue where you go great squad, but not finding their 11. I think this time they found their 11 fairly early in the piece, and now they just need some from their big guns. It's so strange. This is really such an inverted season for Bangalore, because normally they would only get it from their big 2 or 3 players and not much from the others. Now the others are all kind of springing into action, and they're looking at the big guys going, come on, lead us to the promised land. Lead us. Maybe tomorrow can be their day. Leading Chennai to the promised land. They've given it back to the old shepherd, to the old wise shepherd, MS Dhoni. Of course, there was a lot of talk about Ravindra Jadeja handing the captaincy back to MS Dhoni, but that's done and dusted. We've already played a game now. I don't think we have any news about. There's 3 in that middle list, right? Who you look at. Nigel, Dwayne Bravo, Nigel, Moeen Ali, Shivam Dubey. It was kind of ambiguous whether he's injured or not. Now, if those 3, all 3 are fit, Polly, do all 3 walk into your 11?
Yeah, I mean, Santner and Pretorius, I think, they're honest performers. When they're given the opportunity, they'll give you a quality performance on the day. When I say quality, really good by their standards. But is it going to be a match-winning performance? Maybe those other 3 are the kind of guys that if you get them right, I mean, Bravo's picked up enough wickets this season. I think Moeen Ali, I think they've missed him. He was in fine form for them last year, and this injury has come at a bad time. And then obviously Dubey balances things nasty. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. I don't think they'll be wanting to push them back too early. But there's no doubt that those 3, if they do get them in, that all-round performance that they can bring, definitely will make their team stronger on paper when you look at it.
Lisa, Yeah.
I was going to say, has Chennai ever kind of changed that many players in one game?
I don't think so.
Except for the first game in 2008 when everyone was making their debut. Everyone hits cap.
This is a question we have for Joy now, right? We should send Joy this question. The maximum number of changes made by Chennai in a game. I don't think it's ever been more than 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're looking at incumbents if they can come back. But that's also a big if. We don't know if they're fit or not. But how fantastic were Rituraj Gaikwad and Devon Conway at the top. It was a perfect T20 innings. While one was going hammer and tongs, the other was holding back. When the first one got out, the other kind of lifted and picked up a gear. It really was perfect. Gaikwad was so unfortunate. Just a run short of his 100, but a fantastic innings to show. All right, pick a key performer for you. Instinct. Listen, Polly, listen to me. We've done this now a few times, right? You said 16th. You should have stuck with the 16th over. You went safe with 18th. Go with your instinct. Who do you see?
Okay. I'm going instinct. I'm going Jadeja. Nice. I'm going him. He's been very quiet and.
Has Lisa fallen asleep? Instinct. Lisa, are you awake? Yeah. Or you're looking at the list?
I was just looking at the list. Did you settle? It's all right. I am a bit tired, but not as much as I am like at 4:30 a.m.
That's right.
I'm going to go Virat.
Ah, nice. I like that both of you
He's going to fire up and he's just going to go, right, I've got my 50 or 50. Now let me go into another gear.
Now let me get 100 or 50, which is what he does really well as well. He does that. He does his 100 or 60.
What we do have to do, we have to do a little, well done.
For Lisa, 43. Yes, of course. 43, good
43 when you said 40. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Good nomination.
Yeah.
I should have sat pretty with my 44. Johnny Bairstow! I trusted you, my brother. But well done, Lisa. That was a spot on, slightly off guess. It was 40. Polly was on 47. They stopped at 43. So it was just a run, but a win's a win, right? That's what they say. It doesn't matter if it's by a run or by 100. A win is a win. So well done, Lisa.
Yeah.
Well done.
There's been a few occasions in my career where one run's been a difference.
Really? I can't think of any. Oh,
ouch.
Okay, moving on. Joy question.
Brought it up.
Yeah, I love it. Well, let's go from one ouch to another ouch, because that's what happens with Joy's questions, right? Just no idea what's going on. We had about 18 guesses just as we announced this question in the pre-show. And I'm sure the people reading it right now, you have about 10 guesses just straight off the bat. We have no idea. So let's just go straight to the answer. 2,000 runs in partnership, 35 innings. Virat Kohli and Gautam Gambhir.
I didn't even think of Gautam.
No, didn't think of Gigi. You're right.
Oh,
I'm telling you, there were so many options. There were just too many perms and coms. Yeah. That's why I speak like a millennial now. There was just too many. Let's see who get the first right answer in. Let's pop your name up. Bharat Reddy. Bharat Reddy's one of you. Bharat, I think you're one of you. Bharat, middle name always, surname Reddy. He's got the answers. Well done, Bharat. Good on you, mate. So he's got that correct. All right. Well, that's the end of business hours here. time for us to go. Just want to tell all of you to sign up and subscribe to Cricbuzz Plus, because that's where we have some really cool ad-free exclusive content, written as well as video. So do go there. Big thank you to Lisa Sthalekar and Shaun Pollock. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Is that a baby pink elephant next to you?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
And a grey one too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got a little zoo going. That's
Do.
amazing. That's amazing. And I can see that Polly has the red ball as well as the white ball. Is that a pink ball?
No, pink ball.
Yeah, there's no elephants. There's no elephants in the room with me.
No, it was in the room. Great. All right.
Sure.
We have two teams playing tomorrow. There's a few elephants in the room there. Hopefully, they'll be addressed for them tomorrow. Well, they will be for one team, we know for sure. But this team is out of here now. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Cricbuzz Live. That's 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So do tune in then. I'm Gaurav Kapur saying good night. See you tomorrow.